this back in there and get back to hiking because I got the mount adjusted is what I did. So it is at the right plane view. Okay, let's continue then. So basically what my eyes see, you see now. We're at the same level. I may have to scrouch a little bit for something like this, but here's what the trail we're on right now. Beaver Pond Interpretive Trail. I'm putting my gloves on, that's what the squeak is. Yeah. It runs along Blanche Lake, goes over to Horse Pasture Slough. There's actually an animal graveyard over there somewhere too. But I don't even know if you can see this, probably. But anyway, that's the loop we're gonna do. Brought the camera along so we can get some stills. Just gotta make sure I don't slip and fall and make it a annoying video. Quite a few footprints here, so. But it is just after 5 p.m. So I'm hoping, being that we're starting a little late in the day, that we might see a little bit of wildlife. It was a pretty busy park today. Talked to one of the, well, I guess he's a game warden, but he was cutting and burning wood. So it's more of a park worker, probably. There's some more of that concrete dust I've been breathing. But anyway, he was saying also that a lot of people were in here today. When I pulled up to get to this trail, there was half a dozen cars in the parking lot. So, yeah, even at 5 o'clock, there's people out here with me somewhere. There are other trails other than this one. I just took this one because I wanted to do a shorter one, and I have about 75% battery left in the camera. But we'll go as far as we can. Should get me quite a ways, if not the whole loop. It's not a big loop, I'm just taking my time. That's the thing. Look at that, would you? I said I wanted to get a pole, a trekking pole today. This will work for now. Let me get until I find a place to snap some branches off of it. This will be my wizard stick. So now you get to hear a poke. You get to hear that every time I take a step. How annoying is that? We're going to walk out here to the lake for a minute. Here's where it, okay, is there a, you are here? We're way up here somewhere. There's the dog cemetery I was talking about. So, yeah, we're on this run right here. Oh, you are here. Okay. So, yeah. Parked here somewhere, walked up. And we're going to do this. This is Sunset Lake that we did earlier today. We did that loop. Windy out there. especially over here on the top of this peak. That was crazy. But the wind's blowing right across here. Let's go down there. This is one of my favorite places to fish in the summertime because you can walk out in the knee-deep water for quite a ways. It's a big flat right here. It goes out before it drops. Oh, you wouldn't know it. Oh, it's dropping off now. I hear people, but that's all right. They're loud. I'm not going to walk out there. I'm just stopping to give you a chance to take a still picture off a video if you want. That's the biggest lake in the park right there. On the other side of this lake, about that direction, is a town called Battle Lake. There's a highway that goes around the other side of that. Ottertail, my bad. Not Battle Lake, Ottertail. There's a road that goes right along the back side of this, goes right into Ottertail. A lot of good food over there. But we're going to continue on. Just like I said, I don't want the battery to die before we do something interesting. Or see something interesting. It would be neat to swing back around Sunset Lake to catch the sunset on the way down. That's why they call it that. The stick is coming in handy now. The snow is really kind of sugary from melting all day in 40-degree weather. So, slipping and sliding, holding my balance. A lot more deer print back here than any other place I've been in the park. Still not as many as I expected though. So I'm still in the process of fine-tuning a camera mount. That's what the whole episode was at the beginning here. Testing the camera and checking it back there. It's a neck brace, like a GoPro neck brace that hangs your camera down in front of you on your chest. And then it has a chest strap that goes, or a back strap that goes around and resecures, so it holds everything pretty tight. But what I was doing is getting it up and down so it's level, the same level as my eye. Not necessarily the same plane of view, but at least the same level. So it's not seeing more ground than it is trail. Once you fine-tune that, it's got a little wrench that comes with it where you can lock it right in. Of course, that'll change come summer because I'm wearing a thick coat right now that I would not wear in the summer. There's a little break. You can see more of that big lake. Annie Stark, I think it said. In the summer, it's really nice, and we will come back here because it's a short hike to come back and fish off this shoreline. Like I said, you can walk out there quite a ways and in the water because it's just a huge flat here. And you can come back in and sit along the shore in the shade until the sun comes back up over. But it's a cool place where you can just kind of be by yourself. Not a lot of people do that. You can walk up and down the shoreline without being in people's way. Down here at the end, a ways, this lake, and then there's a little river that goes across and connects the two. That's usually a pretty good spot. I think this trail actually loops back around and goes along that river. I'm almost sure of it. We are looking just about due west. If you're into squirrels at all, that ridge right there is really nice. Get up on that ridge and slow walk you. You'll see squirrels all the time. What do we got here? Ice ridge. You are standing between two ice ridges along the lake of Smaller Ridge. La 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 la. You read it. Let me get the camera swinging out of the way if it is. You can read that on your own. I know what they're talking about. So anyway, just pause that and you can read about the ice ridge. We might actually see some ice moving in a short time, because with temperatures like this, that ice is going to melt. And then when the windy days like today, it just blows that ice across the lake and just piles it up and piles it up and piles it up right here along the shore. And it creeps, actually moves like icebergs, and it just pushes anything in its path. It'll move houses. Let's put it that way. It's interesting to see. I've done some landscape work early in the spring along shorelines, people shoring up their beach areas and getting things cleaned up where it's been nice weather and the lawns are clean, but the lake is still froze. And of course the wind picks up and pushes all that ice into their yard, rips it all back up again, and here I come back to fix it. But I've actually seen it move sheds and decks and docks, and houses get destroyed because of creeping ice. The wind pushing it, coming right at you. And places like this are perfect because this is nothing but a big flat that just goes straight out right into the lake. So that's why there's probably not a lot of trees growing here over the years, getting wiped out and pushed up there into the ice ridge. Mother Nature, she can be gorgeous and she can be evil. Just depends on how you look at it. That's why state parks like this are, well, fun, but educational in a sense. If you stop at the main office areas and pick up the brochures and read them as you're camping and learn about it, and then go look for these places. You walk around parks like this, you can actually see evidence of millions of years of ice pushing and pushing, making this lake wider each year from the ice being pushed, making that flat longer. You know, in another million years, the water will be way up here. You know, who knows? We won't. I'm seeing wheel marks. I don't know if you can see those. That's either a wagon with a kid in it, or, yeah, has to be. I was thinking maybe it was a balloon tire mountain bike, but it'd have to be two of them riding really close together. So I guess that would not work. Look at that. It's just wide open right there. Well, okay. We missed a sign because I was so hung up on these tracks. Let's go back a little bit here. I'm making this video for people that don't get out in the wintertime. Oh, I can't even read that. It's kind of faded. Maybe you can. Glacier Lake Vista. Yeah, see, in the summertime. Look down the shoreline, notice the bush structure, la la la. You'll have to read that. Maybe I'll take a snapshot out of a video and filter it up so it's easier to read. If I can figure out how to do all that high-tech stuff. Yeah. 60 years old in a high-tech world. But 60 years old out here hiking in knee-deep snow, too. Okay, it's not knee-deep. I can see grass. It's knee-deep in some places. I really love the idea that I come out here and breathe in a big old bunch of fresh air. Help clean that dang sanding dust out of my lungs. Not sure why they went that way. I'm wondering if maybe someone's trapping, maybe, because pulling their gear out there. I didn't know you can do that on a state park, but there are beavers. That's the waterway between these two lakes over there. We're going to stay on the trail because I know it's packed good enough to walk on. That's why you haven't been hearing this. I actually have decent balance on this. Kind of like walking on a beach. And the sand is 4 inches thick. And you really don't get any traction. You just kind of go with it. Go with the momentum. It'd be really good for cross-country skiing. Ooh, it'd be really good for downhill skiing. You'd go like hell. Oh, here comes another sign. Let's see what we got here. Some kind of flower. Oh, the goldenrod. Yeah. Goldenrod. In the day when I was a little kid, my dad bought me a longbow. If you don't know what a longbow is, it's a wood bow. It's basically just a staff. It doesn't have a little, what's called the riser and the little stage area where the arrow sits on. It doesn't have that. It's just a flat spot to put your hand and the limbs to shoot the bow. And basically this, you shoot off your hand and you lean the bow a little bit to make that notch. I don't know if you can see that, but with a longbow, you turn your hand a little bit and the arrow sits like that, right in that little 90-degree angle. So when you pull back, it has a stage to sit on, and then you release like that. But anyway, I only explain that because some people really don't know what a longbow is. And the difference between that and a recurve is at the top, a bow will bend one way to, oops, we're off trail here. It'll bend one way. That's the curve, where a longbow is just straight. There are some longbows that have a slight taper, but it's still straight at the tip. That's what makes the recurve. But anyway, I got off subject here. My dad bought me a longbow when I was a little kid. And it was actually taller than I was. So when I pulled it back to shoot it, I had to lean it because it would hit the ground. So I instinctively leaned the bow so I could shoot it, because I didn't want to wait till I grew up enough to shoot it, thinking that it had to be straight up and down. Well, oddly enough, I instinctively taught myself how to shoot a longbow properly without even realizing it by canting the bow, because that's the way you actually shoot those. But anyway, goldenrod, getting back to that, were my arrows when I was a little kid. They grew so big. They grew as big around as my pinky, 3/8 to a half an inch around diameter at the base, and it would take a long time to taper up. But at the very end, the goldenrod ball, before it popped open, was pretty heavy. So that made my forward of center weight, which in the archery world they call FOC, front of center. You want the weight of your arrow to be more front of center. So the arrow is actually gliding with the weight of the tip. The ass end of the arrow is just there for stability. It's not there to push it, not there for any other reason, but for stability. So that doesn't really have to have a lot of weight back there. In fact, the least amount the better, because you want it to do this. So anyway, a little education on arrows as well. Those balls on the end of the goldenrod were the perfect weight to keep that goldenrod flying perfectly straight. And we would knock pigeons off the barn roof with them, and knock the shit out of them, where we could actually go over there and stomp on them if they weren't dead. But it would kill them if you hit them hard enough, and you would hit them hard enough if they were close. And the more we shot, whoa, hopefully that's a dog and not a coyote. It's probably a dog, because people bring their dogs back here, because there's a pet cemetery back here somewhere. But anyway, off subject again. The more we shot, the more we would lay out in the field in front of us and use for decoys, until pretty soon the dove would start landing down there, thinking that the pigeons found some kind of major food source and they wanted in on it. So here they come, and boy, oh boy, we had a lot of game bird in the freezer, thanks to my new bow. All that from reading a sign that said goldenrod. But now you understand why my handle is Ramblin' Vagabond. Because I ramble on and on and on while I wander on and on. Two things I like to do the most: get out and see things and do things. I have my days where I like to sit on my butt and chill too, but it seems like this time of year, every year, I get itchy feet. Gotta get outside, especially with turkey season coming. It just helps get you in the mindset of being in the woods. Another sign. This one snuck up on me. Hope I no more did that. What do we got here? Storm damage. Oh yeah, well, welcome to Minnesota. I get straight line winds here. Yeah, straight line winds right there. That's what it says. Yeah, you get your tornadoes down south in the Great Plains and all that, because the wind just goes. But here, it comes down off the Great Lakes and like a wall. And it'll push over anything in its way. And we get it coming across the Dakotas, north and south. Fargo really gets hit from the wind coming across the plains and the Dakotas. Yeah. And of course we get the south wind coming straight up from Nebraska. So, wind all the time. Not all the time. Here, if it's 10 miles an hour or less, that's a breeze. That's actually nice because it keeps the bugs away. You want a breeze in the summertime. We don't have nasty, huge mosquitoes, but we have enough where it's annoying. It's not like down south where everywhere you go, you got to worry about mosquitoes. Here, if you stay away from the waterways, you know, the swamps, the bogs, the bayous, the lakes, the rivers, anything where there's water, mud puddles, you're all right. But in a land of registered 10,000 lakes and arguably 12,000, it's hard to get away from the water. But you can, you know, save your outdoor adventures for breezy days, windy days. Hey, the river is open. Listen. I think I hear ducks over there. The geese, yeah. I just felt like singing a minute. But, what's that flying right there? Anyway. Well, when I got here earlier, I can't see what that is because of the glare on my... Hopefully you guys can see it. But there was two of them. There they are. They might be eagles. But I have my ski goggles on because of the glare and my glaucoma. And at that distance, I can't tell what those are. But once I watch the video, I'll know. That's for sure. Get a lot of eagles out here, especially this time of year when the snow starts to melt. And the animals that didn't make it over the winter are exposed more. They'll come down and take care of that with the crows and the turkey vultures. Yes, we have them too. You don't see them as often because they're usually in the deeper state forests where they can hang out for days and days without seeing people. We have places like that here, especially reservation, because not a lot of people go on them at all, for obvious reasons. Not a lot of people can. Okay, there's a bench there. That's a good indication of how deep the snow is, because you actually sit with your legs bent to the ground. And your head is just a little bit over the top of that. So, yeah. We got some snow here. We got a long way to go. I wonder how high that water's going to get. Right now it has nowhere to go but under the ice. And that's not good. Whoa. once it gets on top of the ice, which it very well may do, it'll thaw the lakes much faster. Water's like a magnifying glass to the sun. Oh, the pileated woodpeckers. Yeah. Most common woodpecker in Minnesota. All you gotta do is just be in the woods and you'll see them. I haven't stopped for a while for photos, and I really don't know if you can get anything off of this with the sun. The sun is warm. Oh, there's something right there. See it? Right next to that tree in the grass. That was a happy bird. Sunbathing in the mud. Either that or something fell out of its nest. And it's all upset about it. I think it's too early for eggs, isn't it? That almost sounded like a turkey. A goose, though. Alright, let's find out what this bird was doing here. Looks like it was just scratching for food. Because there's nothing there at all. It was right in there. Just, yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah, in the summertime, there's... Oh yeah, there's geese on the river. This is awesome. But in the summertime, the grass is so high, all you see is the very tops of those trees over there from here. This grass right here is so tall. All of that grass. You can see it over there too, but it gets so tall you can just see the top of those trees over there. It's crazy. Nice little spot for partridge to thump, grouse. This is a way more comfortable hike than going around Sunset Lake earlier. I still got a ways to go before the sun goes down. I'll go back to the van, grab a late lunch, very late lunch, and charge batteries for a while. Maybe we'll still be here when the sun goes down. I don't know. Oh, jeez. I really need to buy snowshoes. But now it's at the point where you don't want to buy them this year because you want the snow to go away, and it's the time of year where it shouldn't be here anyway. You buy snowshoes in September to get ready for snow. Ooh. That almost looks like a bridge, and I know darn well if I walk right there I'm going to sink. But I'm going to have to check that out when the snow's gone. I'm hoping we go slow enough where we don't kick the geese up, but we might. And I'm thinking it's going to be really loud if I do. Ouch. When you break through this stuff, see how it's this hard slushy ice underneath. This water's melting under. There goes something. Something just ran out of here. But anyway, in some places it's covered with snow as thick as that. And then I break through and my ankle twists. Here I am whining. But that's why you hear me every once in a while do that. And ow. Yeah. And I break through this. And I don't know it because there's a bunch of snow on top of it. Oh, like that. Here, we'll get on the grass now. This is actually what I was thinking the whole park was going to be like this time of year. In fact, it normally is. You're wearing your mud shoes, your summertime boat deck shoes, because it's nothing but mud and water. Way less wind. I'm actually walking the direction the wind is coming, and it's still way less than it was in the wide open. Here's a little bird right in front of me. Chickadee. And our next pole sign. Oh, I was kind of enjoying walking on that grass. Bur oak, yeah, we got bur oaks are everywhere in Minnesota. If it's a low, swampy area, see how these are all gnarly looking? Like if you're into Gothic, take pictures of this right now and impose it into an old cemetery. We have a lot of old cemeteries that have a lot of the burl oak in them, and it's such a perfect picture because it just gives that whole Addams Family look to it, I guess. Yeah. But deer love burl oak. Little mini acorns. Turkeys love burl oak. Squirrel love burl oak. Humans like burl oak because it burns good and hot, but you don't get lumber out of a burl oak. As you can see, they're pretty gnarly. I don't know how much of this I'm getting in the air, but these are the kind of trees that you find a lot of squirrels making their nests in because the branches just intertwine and twist, and it's easier for them to just make a nest in a short time in them. The crotch of these trees are, they'll have branches coming out like a palm. So they can just fill that whole palm area with a bunch of grass and twigs, and next thing you know, they're a millionaire. That's the other problem with them, is once they're old, they're brittle. This one's going to be coming down. That'll be camp wood. They'll cut this and put it in the campsite for campfire wood. That is the reason why when you pull into a state park, you stop and you pay the fee, which is usually very minimal. I mean, very affordable. Bring your whole dang family here for a whole day for less than $10, less than $5 usually, and just hang out here all day. That money goes to paying the people to keep stuff like that off the trails. That's why you don't bitch about it and you just pay. You come here to hang out. You want things to be easy and clean, pay at the gate. It's the same concept as city parks, except you pay them with your taxes. keep that mowed and cleaned. So you have no choice to keep the city parks clean. Here you have a choice. You want to come and play, you got to pay. If you don't want to play, you don't have to pay. I think that's a pretty darn good concept to me. That's what the Department of Natural Resources are all about. A lot of people complain about that department. But it's got to be pretty tough. You know, it's like law enforcement. There's just not enough of them. Can't expect cities of millions to be controlled by thousands. It just doesn't work. Okay. This isn't much longer. We're almost around the corner to the bridge. Here comes the wind again. I noticed in the other video, I put my hand up to block the wind on the microphone, that I covered half the screen with my hand. So I'm just going to let y'all deal with the wind instead of half a picture, because at least you can turn the volume down and still see if it's annoying. But a hand over half the picture is way more annoying, especially when there's wind with it too. Oh, in the face. That's the reason why I wore my ski goggles. Your eyes don't dry out. You can keep your eyes wide open while you're hiking. You don't have to worry about squinting or your eyes frosting over, or even things blowing in your eyes. They're close. There he is. Oh, it's a snow goose. Two of them. That was cool. If I was paying attention instead of running my mouth as usual, we would have seen them lift. Right off that open water out there. There's more out there though. Kind of cool. That's a cool picture. Put some dramatic music to that, like you're walking across an Alaskan tundra, hoping there's civilians on the other side of that ridge. Feels like it sometimes here in the wintertime. December and January can be hell. The older you get, the harder it gets. And all that time of standing there, we could have been standing here. Oops. Duck blind willows. Yeah. I've hunted duck, but activity for Glendalough camp visitors. Duck blinds were located. See, he may be talking about, or this may be talking about that, where this was a game farm. I really got to research that more and more, because yeah, from one. Oh, okay. Here's why we need the stick. That's deep. You don't go off trails yet. Okay. I mean, I wish. Not that I don't enjoy coming here now and these days, but I wish that I came here when, or I wish it was still a game farm. I may not have hunted it. I probably would have, because I'm a sportsman, but to be able to see the wildlife that was here, because it was raised and controlled, I think that would have been awesome. You know, I probably would have done more hunting with a camera than I would have with a weapon. You know, I'm a bow hunter, true and true, and I do like guns. Don't get me wrong, but I do not have a high-powered rifle except for a 50 caliber black powder gun. So I'm still traditional. I don't have the modern day centerfire, 28,000 feet per second rifles. I still have to get relatively close to the animals I hunt with my rifle. I have a 200-yard max range, within 100 yards preferably. It's a big bullet. It'll go 200 yards, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have knockdown power at 200 yards. Depends on the conditions and where it hits the animal. Well, here we go, another hiker.
Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Nice day for it, ain't it?
Yeah.
What do we have here? Old golf course, really? Okay, that I didn't know. And this is a relatively new sign. So, there's a good reason why I didn't know that. Huh, interesting. So here I was walking along Gavin, and you guys didn't tell me there was somebody coming at me. You guys are rude. You know what's funny? In 2023, it's not out of the norm for people to be walking around talking to themselves with cameras in their hands, so nobody really even thinks twice about it. Yeah. Welcome to the new world. Okay, I can see them. I see them in the sun glistening over there, other than these two bunches flying. There's a bunch over there. Let's leave them alone. Had to take them forever to fly up here from the south, and they're really looking for open water to hang out in, because this time of year normally lakes are mostly open. I wonder if they're already establishing a pecking order already. Hey girl, where you at? From what I understand, and from what I've heard over and over, when geese find their mate, it's the same mate until death do them part. So they do everything together, including fly south. Oh, come on, spring. Yeah, we're getting close to the bridge. There's the cattails. Coming in at this angle, I'll be able to show you where I caught the biggest bass in my life. And I fished a lot of places, including Florida, where there are big bass. 15-pounders down there sometimes. Biggest bass I ever caught, size-wise, girth-wise. Maybe not pound-wise, because here they don't, for some reason, get as heavy as they should as the size. 17-inch bass is only about 3 pounds here, or a 17-inch bass in Florida. It's going to be more like 6. They're short and stout, like a root beer barrel. For some reason, they grow long rapidly here before they grow mass. I'm not sure what the deal is. Maybe because of the northern pike, they instinctively grow big fast for more swim power. I don't know. What do I know? Ramble on. Well, so far I haven't really needed this much. This looks like a good spot. Just sit and gaze for a minute. If I remember right, you can actually see the bridge from here. If I can get down there close enough to the water and look back up it. Ooh, without sliding in. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is only a trail by animal, not by human, other than a few people that brave it. Oh, you can kind of see it. Yeah. Right now, this is low. I mean normal, not low. But I'm willing to bet another week of this weather, all that snow melts. I'll be standing ankle deep in water right here. And it's 1.5 feet below me with the bank. So, yeah. There's going to be a lot of water here. I bet that's cold as hell, man. But this Animal Crossing happens all year long. I don't know if I can bend down far enough for you to notice, but see how that's from footprints going through and stepping in it. You know, each time they step, they break off a little more until they eventually get up. Kind of like tripping over the door jamb on the way in the door, you know. Same deal with the animals. You know, they drag their feet up it, and each time they drag their feet, it knocks a little bit more in. That's why it's on the sides and not in the middle, because their feet they don't have anything in the middle that hangs low enough. I was trying to figure out a way to put that politically correct. Anyway, let's continue on. Let's get up here so we can get some still shots across the... Man, I just stepped there and that whole piece just went boom. But anyway, so you can take some pictures here across the... Maybe if you're lucky, that branch is in it. Here, we'll stand right there. I think that gives you the branches in the foreground and trees in the background. Yeah. I like it here. Let's go over here and get a different angle. Like I said, it gets busy in the summer, but the reason why it gets busy is because it's a cool place to come. You can swim in every one of the lakes here. It's free will. I mean, they have a beach for the beachy people that like sand in their toes, you know, and no fish hooks and little fishies nibbling at your hairs on your legs. If you like all that, they have a beach for that. But you know, you could jump right up and swim in this if you wanted to, and nobody would say a dang thing. That's what I like about it here. And I also like the fact that they do have a lot of Park Service rangers in here, because they act like the law, as it should be. Beaver habitat. I've been stopping at every one of these signs, hoping that it gets in the frame so you can read them. I won't know until I get home and edit this. really don't do a lot of editing. At the very beginning, I chop off when I very first turn on the camera and put it in the mount and get it all fiddled around and all that. I'll chop all that off at the beginning and the end. But I pretty much post everything I do and say because that's the whole point. Some of the rambling and some of the shots aren't good enough to be interesting. So I do cut some things. I'm not stupid. I think I'm going to leave this stick for the next guy because we're really close. And I don't really need it. You watch, I'm going to fall on my ass now. Hey, bird. Well, with the amount of people I've seen in the park today, it's not so whoa. We're missing photo opportunities here. I gotta really pay attention instead of rambling so much. That up right there, the trail, the sun, the trees. There you go. Take some pictures of that, would you? Again, this is why you don't see me hardly ever in my videos, because I'm out here to show you this. This to me is what you turned on my channel to see. I'm not a glam guy anyway, believe me. And that should make no difference anyway. You turned on my channel to see state parks and outdoor activities and points of interest and stuff like that. That's what you're going to see.